Hey guys, it's Jessica Rabbit from the Millennial Wives podcast. This is episode 2. I have the other host, Miss Ari Nicole. And hold up, I need y'all to do one thing for me. I need y'all to go push that subscribe button and make sure you leave some comments after the episode to let us know what you guys thought. Any questions, comments, concerns, put them down below. And then we're going to talk about 5 things we learned from dating and that we brought it into our marriage, or what some things we just say, you know what, I'm gonna leave back there, and what I'm gonna do different in marriage. So, Ari, what's some things you're bringing in from the past into the future, or do you just want to do a little catch up about what's going on through the week so far, and then jump right on in?
Sure, we can catch up. I can talk about some of the things that I'm dealing with now that I can see that I didn't want to bring in, but you just bring things in naturally. Some things are just habits. Some things are just a part of you, so you can't help that. But I think 5 things, or my number one thing that I brought in and that I didn't want to, is more or less just trying to change people. But that's something we all battle with. You don't want to change anybody. You want everybody to stay their genuine, authentic self. So that's one thing I think that I didn't want to bring in, but kind of like ease this way in.
That's understandable. Things have that way of coming on in. I think communication was one thing that I saw in past relationships that were up and down. I said, okay, going into marriage, we're gonna try to have a better communication skills and to communicate and to converse better and to I hear you. So one thing my husband and I do is we watch marriage boot camp, and people laugh at that. I'm like, I have learned so many different skills from them that you really don't learn. People don't tell you. It's okay to have an opinion, and when you hear something, say, well, don't yell at the person. I heard you say this, or I felt this way when you did this. So then you can let your opinions be known and then say, okay, I hear you when you said that. That's not maybe how I meant to say it. And then bring it back this way. So you both can say how you feel on each other, on each side. So it's not like it's a one-sided thing. No, let me say what I'm feeling is my opinions. I'm entitled to have my opinions. You're entitled to have your opinions, and then we can try to come together and find an equal ground. And if we can't find an equal ground, say, hey, you know, we need to pray on this more. Come back to it at a different time when we can both be civil and not trying to kill each other and try to go that way. I mean, but I do think watching Marriage Boot Camp has given a lot of skills that I was like, oh, okay, we're lacking that. Let's try it this time and see how that works.
I learned a
What
lot
up?
from Marriage Boot Camp too. I watched that with my husband, and we both got things that we don't want to um do in marriage from it. Watching other people and their struggles, and like, okay, I thought about introducing that, but nah, that's not gonna work. And that's what we got a lot from it. Like, there's a lot of things that'll work for somebody else that won't work for you and your personalities. So that's what a lot of what we took from watching the whole. I think we binge watched that. So that's one of those things during the quarantine that we learned and we watched. But communication is, like you said, it's a really big part of it. If you don't have that, it's a struggle for anything else to go right.
Yes, yes. And then I think
So
when
that's with anything, though.
that's true, even friendships, like, so
Hmm.
you single gals out there that are not married, take notes. Try to find some things you can do within your relationship or to get better, for your next relationship. Because I know there are some single ladies out there listening to us too. Even though we are the millennial wives, we don't want to leave y'all out there on the rowboat by yourself. Give y'all a little tidbits so y'all can come into your marriage like, oh, I know this, and maybe y'all do a little better than it was in the beginning. But I think,
Well, we've been on both sides. So, in order to be a wife, you had to be single at some point, and I definitely
Yeah.
have a lot of gems from that experience that I've taken, and that I've, things that I, like I said, I just dropped where they were. Like, I can't keep doing this because I'm going to keep having the same outcome. So that's a big part of it.
Yes.
My second thing that I really learned through from dating up to marriage is just, like accepting people where they are and just growing with them as a person, like, kind of like having to merge yourself into their way of things. Like, you have to compromise, I would say. That's the word I'm looking for. It's more of a compromise. And that's something I had to learn being single up into marriage. You have so many things you got to compromise on that it's just unbelievable. It's just the smallest things that you got to compromise on that you wouldn't even guess. It could be something as small as like the way he eats versus the way you eat, the time he likes to eat breakfast versus the time you like to eat breakfast. It's just so many things you got to compromise on a daily basis. And that's like, if you can't do that in dating, then for sure I wouldn't even take like marriage into full consideration until you can do that. Because it's going to be a constant battle.
It's true. You learn to fight your battles. You learn to see which one, you know, which is really a fight and which is like, okay, you just get this. Some people don't like to have breakfast food for breakfast. They want real food for breakfast. And some men, I know, like, compromising in roles. I don't think there should be gender specific roles in a marriage. Just because you're the woman doesn't mean you have to cook and clean all the time. Just because he's a man doesn't mean he has to take out the garbage or build things. There's some things that you can do and say sometimes you're a little bit better at doing little things that he's better at. I think men are some of the best cooks out there. Sometimes, my husband knows how to go in the kitchen and throw something together. I call it his little hood meals. He'll look in the cabinet and he'll throw something together and you'll be like, dang, this is good. Whereas I'm more of a strategic cook. I can make a recipe. I have to have all my ingredients and I can do that. Like, I can cook soul food, anything. You throw a recipe at me, I can do it. But he's the more throw things together. So that's a compromise within itself because, how you going to eat? What lifestyle you want to do? Or if he eats all of your food, do you complain if you're on a special diet? And he's up there making protein shakes and your protein bars and different things, and you're like, "Dag, what am I gonna have? I can't eat the food that y'all eat." Do you say something, or do you just say, "You know what? I'll let him have it. Go buy some more." It's different things. Or putting the kids to bed, bathing them, and getting up in the middle of the night. Does the mom always have to get up in the middle of the night, or can the dad say, "You know what? I'll get the baby a bottle this time." It's
It's a big compromise at everything.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You got to learn to live with it. I mean, that's just a part of it. It's like two human beings trying to join together. It's always going to have to be, just like you said, with your girlfriends, with your husband, with at work. It's always going to have to be a compromise in some aspects of the ordeal. But I just love like being able to do little things that are out of the norm for my husband, just to make him feel considered, even though it might be like, okay, I've done a lot all week already. So, you just want to just do that little thing to get a little extra oomph in there, even though you've done a lot already. So those things, you always got to keep a little stash in your bag to bring out. Like, I know you cooked, but I'm going to wash all the dishes. I'm going to clean the kitchen and, just something special.
Yes.
But for the most part, that compromise part is like a big thing. Especially, I know we both work. So I try to compromise in order to keep myself sane. Because as a wife, I always think about maintaining my self image. And you can't do that unless you have some kind of compromise in a relationship, because you'll just drain yourself trying to do everything. So that's a big
That's true.
part of it. Yeah.
That's
But
true.
it's really
Shoot.
true. I mean, and it's our human nature, even though people don't want to put a lot on one spouse over the other. I think it's just in our human nature to just, if they're doing it, let them do it. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna fight you on that. If you're doing it, go ahead and do it. Because I mean, I'm already tired, or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it depends on what he's willing to give up as well. You know, spending time on a video game or with his boys, watching a game, to maybe do something that you would want to do, or watch a movie, or even you with your girls, like if you're on the phone, like, okay, well, I guess I gotta get the phone now and sit here and talk. So it's different compromises you have to make. And then you have to have a good, I think, set of friends as well around you that understand marriage and its roles. That if he's home and you need to get off the phone because he's home, then they should be understanding and give you that moment, and not, girl, bye. He can talk to you later. You know, he'll be with you all the time. I only get this little bit of time. No, you know, if people have to understand that even when you're in your dating relationships, if it's becoming serious, you have to take all this into consideration. And then sometimes you have to tell your girls, like, look, I can't. Or even your husband, if you're like, I need girl time, they should understand that. Like, okay, no, I understand. Yeah, you go out with your girls, go hang out, go do something, go feel good for you. Because it's not all
mhm.
about the kids and us. They have to have like a well balanced situation. But sometimes our husbands can be a little jealous, or not jealous, but like stingy with us. And I guess we get like that as well too.
Oh yeah.
And then
I
another thing,
think what number we on? We're
I think,
probably
well,
on like number 3 now.
the
You
third thing
think
I
so?
learned.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
like, just to get back on track, if I just think, like you just said, the girlfriend part is a big part of it. And then the men, I learned that men have to have their own me time as well. A lot of people don't give them their me time because they're more paranoid. A lot of women are paranoid about, okay, how is he spending his time? Is it, but that's the thing you got to work out in dating, I think. So like, if you
Hmm.
see red flags, more than likely those red flags are going to be the ones that concern you in the marriage. So you just got to automatically think to yourself, like, okay, if this was happening to me and I was married, how would I respond, versus me being dating now. So if I can't
Hmm.
take it as a dater, then I don't want to carry this in. Then maybe that's not the person for me. But if you can stand those little pet peeves or whatever, or those things that when he's out on his own, how he responds, how he acts, the differences or whatever that he has, you gotta actually take those into account, because they don't disappear, ladies. They do not go anywhere. They just get
No,
magnified.
no,
If
they do.
anything. Hmm.
Yes, no, they do. And then I think another thing I learned was to keep the parents out of it. So you don't run to his mother, you don't run to your mother or his father, your father. Try to work out your problems between yourselves, because a lot of times dating or even into marriage, early on in the marriage, they try to run back to the parents and let the parents know every little thing that's going on in their marriage. And that's when parents get involved and they call and say, well, my daughter this or my son this. Leave the parents alone. They shouldn't know what's going on. They shouldn't know there's been a fight or a disagreement. Try to work things out between you two, because if you can't work it out, you can't have a healthy relationship. And that goes back into the communication. Your parents shouldn't know what he did or what she did. Just leave it alone. Just let it go between y'all. If you have a disagreement, say, no, you know what? It's not a good time. Try not to gossip with it. And then maybe once you got everything cleared up, like, oh my God, I can't believe what he did, but we were able to get through it and we talked about it. But don't bring them in right away, because that becomes messy. And then parents are feeling some way, or mothers, especially with their boys, they're so, oh, he's a great son, he's a great provider, he's a great this, a great that. I'm like, but you're not in a relationship with him. So you're looking at the aspect, yeah, he goes to work every day, he's helping pay the bills, but there's things in the house that need to get done, and you're only one person. So whether you stay at home, whether you work, it's a lot. I can't take care of 5 million things and then neglect myself, but he gets to sit on the couch and watch TV. And then when's dinner ready? Well, you could have started helping me prep. You could have been doing this. You see me with the kids. Come on, don't sit there and just wait to be fed you now. I have no problem fixing your plate. I have no problem cooking for you. But don't take advantage of the situation. Don't just sit back and act like, oh, I'm ready for dinner whenever you are. And you're like, well, can we get some help here? So I
Right.
think that's another thing, like, because those mothers are, and I don't want to be that type of mother either. So I don't want to be that mother-in-law that always just siding with my child, always in the, oh, what are y'all doing? What's going on? No, 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 no. Mind my business. Come see the grandkids. Come see my kids. Come see my daughter-in-law, my son-in-law, and then leave it at that. I'm really trying not to nitpick. Listen,
Right.
but your comment isn't always needed or necessary.
Yeah,
What's
that's
the
true.
fourth thing you think?
And your spouse really has to be the biggest person that like the person that you go to with your issues the most, because when you start like going to outside sources, everybody has their little biases, and you got to keep that into consideration. Like, your girlfriend might be going through something, so she not gonna be hearing in the same, hearing your struggle in the same light. If she going through something, your mother might be going through something, she hearing it different, so of course she got a different spin on it. And that's something that you got to take in consideration. The two people that are in the whatever conflict is going on need to be like the main people that talk to,
Mm-hmm.
per se. I know you got to have an outlet, but it's kind of hard in marriage to find the right person to be your outlet.
I think a married woman or a married man, for either one, should really be the outlet, because single, I said this before, single people give single advice, whereas a married woman or a married man will give more so married advice. But it all depends, because you have some of those women that don't care, have some of those men that don't care. You do whatever you want to do. You know, what the left hand don't know ain't going to hurt them. But then you have the ones
Right.
that really solid, that really want to stand in a marriage and say, no, you know what? Maybe if you look at it this way, or maybe he really didn't mean it that way, or this, or maybe you were a little too strong or coming off too forceful. Is it something that you can do? Give up a little bit. Has he done anything for you to give up a little bit to see it on the other side? I mean, we all go through our situations, and yeah, everybody's marriage doesn't look the same. But I agree with you. There are some people that be like, nah, I'm not gonna get no advice from you, because
Mhm.
if I get some advice from you, I'm packing my bags and I'm at the door.
Right, right. I learned that in dating too, because it's like even when you're dating, you gotta really be selective. Like, okay, can I take advice from you? Does anything you look like, anything in your life look like what I want to be, or what I want my relationship to look like? Because I mean, you can't replicate mess.
Yeah.
If you really want to be in peace, you cannot replicate mess. So I just have to take everything a person says with a grain of salt, and find those people that, okay, like, they seem like they're on the same page as me, we clicking, like, Rika says, like the spirituality connection is there, something is
Mhm.
clicking there, so I can kind of like use their advice to my benefit and take it into consideration, although it all always goes back on you, really, the
Yes.
decision. Hmm.
Yes.
So
No, it does, because you can't get mad at nobody else but yourself, because you're the one that did it. Even though
yeah.
somebody gave you the advice, like, well, I'm the one that took it. I'm the one that did it, or you didn't put your own little spin on it, and then you're trying to
Hmm.
blame someone else. But no, that's something. Can't blame nobody else for what you did. It's You have to be accountable. Accountability. Yeah. Both of
Right.
y'all need to have your accountability in check. Starting off
Yeah.
in dating.
I know. And one tick on that answer is keep your circle, like make sure your circle is a replica of what you want your life to be. Because like they say, the five people that are closest to you, they have the biggest impact on how your life becomes. That is so true. Like even in dating, you meet the same type of guys because you're in the same circle as these certain people, and you keep meeting the same types. And then even in marriage, the same issues keep coming up because you around the same type of people, and you start to, even if you don't want to, it's just human nature, you start to like pick up some habits. So
No,
that's what
I agree with
I
that.
just learned that, and I just always take that into consideration. Like, okay, am I doing something that is not genuinely me, or am I mimicking my moves off of my circle? Maybe I need to just scale back a minute and take everything into consideration, because I could be getting pissed at him for nothing, you know.
That's true, because sometimes that happens. You know, you hear your friend talking this, talking that, and then all of a sudden he does something similar, and he's like, "But that ain't right. I told them not to take that, so why am I going to take that?" Where it's not
Right.
even that big, or hormonal changes as you get older into your marriage that also plays an effect. And some men try to act like they don't understand that, but you saw what your mom went through, and maybe, you know, I don't know if she did a good job of hiding it, but a lot of them, you know, sit down and talk to your mothers. Guys, if y'all listening, if you see your wife going through different changes, talk to your mom. Say, you know, do you remember when you were about this age, this certain stuff started happening, and you know, did she become weepy more, or you know, did it's a little bit sensitive to everything, and then maybe she'll hopefully she'll be truthful with you and say, you know what, yes, and that's a part of life, and you just have to go through this little new phase with her, and then once y'all get past that, it'll get better. But you know, some guys just think we're just supposed to be robots, or was it pillow princesses, and look our best at all times, and not be
You're the trophy
upset and
wife.
angry. Yes, yes. Come outside looking pish polished. Like, no.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. I think if you don't have your mom in your life, I would also say it's a lot of ladies out here that, just like I said, you really got to vet them for their advice. But when you vet them and you find out they're a genuine person, like, you can spin the question off to them. You ain't got to say directly what it is, but you can get some good advice from them. So
yes.
don't take that for granted just because you don't have a mom or aunt or whatever. Don't just
Or if
do
you
that. Don't.
no,
Or who you said?
or if even if your mom isn't the best person to get advice from, so you know you should always have a backup person saying, you know,
Right.
I don't know if I can get advice, because everybody can't get advice from everyone. So you can say, well, you know what, I don't know if you're the best person for me to get this advice from. Let me talk to another person that has been through it and can give sound advice, because everybody in every situation isn't for everybody. And
That's so true.
some people have moms that are not on the up and up. So they have them, but they can't get advice from them. They can't
Hmm.
rely on them. They can't anything from them. So it's like you have to find someone that's older, that has some wisdom, that's, you know, really made marriage work. And I'm not talking about, yeah, I slept in two separate rooms.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
we've been married for 80, 70 years, but y'all haven't slept in the same bed since 1943.
Oh, that's another
Y'all just
thing. Like, you know that age. I mean, I hear you what you when you say like somebody older, but like sometimes age doesn't mean wisdom. So there's some people out there with some pearls that's in our age group too. Like they just lived early. Like they just lived a long life at an early age. So
yes. But
look for
yeah,
them people too. Don't leave them out.
yes.
Like that's
No.
a big thing. Having that support system that's going to help you when you need it. It's really important because
Yeah.
you make stupid decisions when you don't have anybody around you to like just catch you when you falling. So, and I thank you, girl, for one of my support
Yes.
systems.
Yes, 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 yes. We support
Yes,
each other
always a
all the
listening ear,
time.
always checking in. And I just
Yes.
thank you so much for that.
Yeah. I thank you too. We accountable for each other, and making sure, you know, you haven't heard from the person, like, oh, I didn't really hear from you today. You all right? Everything good? And it's like I'm always one of those people. I'm not going to ask you personal stuff unless you share with me. Like some people go
Hmm.
out, girl, how's your marriage? No, no. I think if she wants me to know, she'll tell me. And you don't dig deep like that with me either. It's like I know you're like the same way. If she
Yeah,
wants
and
some,
then with your girlfriends, when you're really close like that, they don't have to say
yeah.
nothing.
No,
you, know,
you
you just
know,
be like,
something's off.
okay, something's off. She clicking. She not saying nothing. I'm just gonna take it easy. So you got to be able to read, like, read the room. Read the
Yes,
room.
Hmm.
But
Yes, yes, yes. Because if
that's a
not,
major thing.
yeah. And then sometimes they help you out. Like, you know what? It wasn't that bad, was it? You're not really going through this. It's okay. You're just going through your emotions. You're all right. Nothing's wrong. And then they help you to bring you down. Like, okay,
They
it
could
was
bring
all
you down
right.
without even knowing the problem. So
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They just talk to
it
you
has
like,
happened.
yes, it does. It does. If a person's really
Mhm.
connected with you like that, it's good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The fifth thing, which we probably already said five because we got so long-winded, but the fifth thing is like I just think I was talking to my husband this morning. I was giving him these answers, and we were springing back. He's like, "Oh, I agree," but I was just saying, in a marriage, you got to be so forgiving. Like the forgiveness part is just like astronomical on marriages. Like sometimes you just
Hmm.
have to just wipe your slate clean as long as you know your boundaries have not been breached. And sometimes your boundaries they be like so close. Like, oh, he's hovering over it. But you still gotta like be able to forgive and forget because it's like it's no way you're gonna make it to all these long amount of years. When you hear these people say, I saw this couple on I think it was Instagram. They married for 90 years, almost 82 years since
Wow.
they were 19 and they were in
Hmm.
their hundreds. So like if you want to make it that long, you got to have some big abilities to forgive, like huge. You can't just be one of these people that hold grudges. Is no way. I usually
Mm-mm.
hold my grudge for about, I'll say, I can hold it half a day. Sometimes I make it all night, but rarely do I make it over through the night with a grudge. Because I'm like, oh man, I can't. Oh, the bigger picture. Oh, it's so many things that I have to be, grateful for. And that's
Hmm.
what I usually reflect on to get back to forgiving state. I just reflect on
Yeah.
what I'm grateful for and what I've done that I've been forgiven for. So that usually gets me
Mm,
back calm. And it's
that's
always something to look forward to.
yes. And I always say, you can apologize even if you don't feel like you're wrong. Sometimes just apologizing first would get them to actually apologize as well. And it's okay if you felt like you didn't do anything wrong. You did something. We each play a part in the argument. So sometimes saying I'm sorry first, and I'm sorry for my words or my actions or the way I said them to you and the way they came off. And then sometimes it makes it just go by a little bit better. So I think if we're willing to do that, like you said, willing to apologize, willing to forgive, and not bring it back up in the next argument or later on in the week, just if it happened in the past, I don't care if it was 2 seconds ago, let it be the past. Let's move forward and just make this relationship work because once the kids are gone, we're all we got. And I don't want to end up in divorce court once the kids are gone, like, oh, we can't even get along anymore. So we should have that common balance together.
Yes. I've heard somebody say like, "Is marriage out of style now?" Because the because the way it is things are going like the way things are going. It's so hard for this new generation just being married. I don't know, social media, all these different things come about, but when it all boils down to it, it's all about you and what your goals are for your life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like it's going to go out of style for everybody because like you always have these things that you can look forward to, like you said, when the kids are gone, or even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have kids, just spending that long term going through the struggle with somebody, having somebody to support you. So that's a
Yes.
big thing to think
Yeah.
about.
Even if you don't have kids, looking forward to retirement and being able to travel together and do things together without the
Hmm.
restraint of having to go back to work. So, yes, it doesn't matter. Like you said, if you have kids, you don't have kids, retirement's going to come and you guys have to, and once the sex is over, you have to be able to be in a marriage when it's when it's just y'all
Wait,
talking.
wait a minute. Who said that was over?
Well, I mean, you'll be 70, 80 years old still getting it on. Well, go ahead, girl. I don't know.
That's what I'm planning on. I mean, I don't know about you.
Well,
Look, like they say at church, I don't know what you came to do, but I came to clap my hands.
I know that's right. I know that's right. But so I guess so. I mean, I heard old people talking, especially the men said they got that Viagra. So hey,
they got that Niagara.
You got your Viagra, you got your Niagara. We gonna make it do what it do.
I'm telling you, and I see these older ladies. I don't know if it's just the ladies, but I always seem to see ladies. I don't know if that's a cue or a clue, but the ladies up in age, they always talking a lot of stuff about what they do, and I'm like, oh, you still doing all of that?
Mm-hmm. I see that. Yes, I've seen it on TikTok. I've heard it in family gatherings and stuff. I kicked my leg up. I said, "Oh, you can still kick your leg up, okay, boss?" So
Right.
hey,
So I'm keep hope alive.
Yeah,
Keep hope alive.
as long
It
as
can
that connection's
happen.
still there, it can. I think if you guys have a good connection and you're willing to grow with each other, and hey, I'm gonna make it do what it do. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
you
with
got to
that.
work through a lot of stuff, but long as you got technology on your side, Pfizer, what's the other company? Somebody gonna make it happen. We ain't gonna go out without a
Without a
fight.
bang. Mm-hmm.
Right, that's true.
like,
Literally.
like on Color Purple, how he died on top of me. Yeah, he didn't went
Right.
out. He didn't went out happy.
I'm telling you, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
But I have enjoyed spending this time with you, and
Yes. Yes.
thank you for liking and subscribing. Do not forget to
Yes.
do that. We would very much
Okay.
appreciate it. Hit the bell so that you'll be notified when we come back and upload again, which will be hopefully next Friday, God willing.
Yes.
And we'll have some more interesting conversations. We have some more people to interview, and we have a lot of things to look forward to in the
Yeah.
podcast. So, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them below, and we will have some information in the description section that you would like to check out. Just thank you so much. We enjoyed this time.
Yes. And I
Any
hope you
last
guys
parting
enjoyed it.
words?
I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you can come back again. See you later. Come back. Stay for a while. Get to know us. We'll get to know
All
you
right.
by leaving your comments. Subscribe, hit the bell, and we're gonna make it do what it do next week. So we'll see you later.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.